What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and finish learning about Operation Yellow Ribbon, which has been this incredible story about the town of Gander, Newfoundland, stepping up, coming together to help thousands of people stranded there during the events of 9/11. And this has just been a special story to learn about. This is filled with Canadians displaying acts of kindness and empathy and just goodwill towards their fellow humans, towards complete strangers, actually. And so, where we are now is that we just finished part 2. Here in part 3, we're starting off with the ban on air travel has just been lifted. Planes can start flying again over the United States. And it sounds like people are finally getting ready to go home after spending several days stranded in the town of Gander, which have honestly been some of the most special days to learn about in part 2, hearing about how the people of Gander were so accommodating and so amazing, and hearing some of the people who were actually there speak about it. And it's been great. This documentary's been great, so I'm real excited to kind of finish it off and hear about the conclusion of this amazing story. So let's take a look.
U.S. airspace reopens on Thursday, September 13th.
Right.
Over the next 3 days, the Gander airport once again becomes a swarm of activity.
There they go.
Around town, the schools and Legion halls begin to empty.
Right. They've been staying literally in like schools and churches and halls. There were a lot of people just letting folks like come to their home, like stay in their home. They're like, my door is open. Just amazing.
Our community had a sense of sadness because they didn't know if they were ever going to see, and probably never will see, a lot of those people again. But there was also a lot of friendships developed from it. So there was a sense of sadness, but a sense of relief that I did something good to help those people.
Wow. Right. Like, that's amazing to hear about. Like, people, these people have formed a bond. And I think it's, like, as special as it was for the people offering help, this was, like, incredibly special, I think, for the people who were stranded there, getting help, just looking around like, oh my God, these people are amazing, taking us in, feeding us. And not surprisingly, everyone formed close friendship, close bond in circumstances like this. And so he's kind of talking about some of them being kind of sad to go, which is, kind of bittersweet in a way. So, yeah, that's special.
We rode on a school bus to go back to the airport to leave. And, of course, I had already been crying because we were leaving the people that we'd met here.
Yeah.
And Nick was trying to comfort me, and he was going to kiss me on the forehead. And, well, I didn't think about him being a gentleman and kissing me on the forehead. I thought he just missed my lips. So I just grabbed him and kissed him on the bus.
Wow. How wholesome. Wow.
Shirley Brooks Jones, the retired Ohio State fundraising administrator, boards Delta Flight 15 to begin her journey home. She's constantly thinking about the generosity of the people in the Gander area, wondering what she could ever do to pay them back.
Right. I'm sure that was the feelings for most of the people. Like, this has been ridiculous. This has been amazing. Like, in this tragic time, like, it's crazy. They're dealing with confronting the reality that September 11th has just happened. The United States is under attack on its own home soil, while also, like, getting this amazing demonstration of goodwill from people. A pretty amazing way to almost counteract the horror of what's going on with the amazing, like, positivity that has just happened as well in Gander. And I'm not surprised that a lot of them are like, I might never see them again. I want to pay them back. But that's not necessarily true. I feel like that's like an American thing to say. They could just like get on a plane and fly back to Gander like some other time. I feel like that's such an American thing to say, to be like, oh, they'll never see them again. There, once they leave Canada, like, oh, there's no going back. It's like, yeah, you can go back, and I hope a lot of them did. I'm sure they formed a lot of close bonds. I'm sure many of them did.
Going home, an inspiration.
All of us, as we were leaving, tried to leave some money with the people. And they wouldn't take it. They'd just look at us and they'd say, no, you do the same for us.
Wow.
Once the flight is airborne, Brooks Jones asked the pilot if she can make an announcement. A request, really, for passengers to donate money toward a scholarship fund for graduates of Lewisport Collegiate School, where so many have spent their days in Newfoundland.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. If the townspeople are too nice to take the money, just take the money already. Stop being so nice. No, that totally fits in with what the attitude they've had of selflessness. This woman had the idea to start a scholarship, donate to the scholarship, which I think is something Gander would accept as an indirect payment of sorts, that's great. That's amazing.
Several of the men went around, picked up the pledge sheets, counted up how much the people from all over the world had pledged, and they had pledged something over $15,000 U.S.
Wow, nice.
When Delta 15 touches down in Atlanta, the passengers and crew, who for days were left wondering if anyone remembered them, are surprised by the warm, enthusiastic welcome they received.
Back home. Getting it, they're getting like a big welcome, finally being back home. I'm sure none of the people there in the U.S. even quite understand what they went through in Gander, actually.
After 4 stressful days spent tending to her passengers, and with the thought of 2 hijacked American Airlines flights still fresh in her mind, Captain Beverly Bass recalls the moment she arrived home in Dallas.
So we're rolling down the runway. I'm looking straight ahead, and I put the airplane into reverse, and it's the first chance I've had to look to the right, and that's when I saw the American flag. That was it. That was the first time that my emotions came into play.
Yeah, I mean, this was a period in time where, like, I feel like nowadays the American flag, at least for Americans, the American flag has almost become, like, associated with politics, and it almost makes people uncomfortable in certain circumstances, which is a real shame, honestly, that seems to have happened a bit. And just thinking about this time, where as horrific as a time it was one of the times where the American people were the most united, and raising those American flags and getting emotional over it, and that's kind of a beautiful thing to see here.
George Vitale returns home to a New York deeply wounded by 9/11. His everyday, a reminder of what was lost.
Yeah, oh my gosh, imagining returning home to New York City during 9/11. Oh my God.
Out my house, and now I'm looking at that Manhattan skyline in front of me, and there's this gaping hole. And I remember becoming so overwhelmed emotionally that I just broke out in tears.
Yeah.
I
remember it took like a long time for like the smoke from the towers falling down, the smoke to dissipate. And literally the skyline has changed. Like, it's crazy.
A lot of people that I knew, co-workers, that never came home. I have sometimes guilt because my experience was so warm. I've made lifelong friends. It's kind of like if this evil attack by evil people never happened, I would have never met on the complete opposite end of the spectrum the most wonderful people on earth.
There you go. He has declared it. The most wonderful people on earth. Yeah. I've kind of been alluding to that, I think, during this. It's like, out of this terrible, terrible event was something kind of magical that happened in Gander, Newfoundland.
The O'Rourkes finally arrive home on Saturday afternoon, 4 days after they were diverted to Gander. It will be 9 more days before they finally get the call they had been dreading. Kevin's body has been recovered in the rubble of the North Tower.
Yeah.
I know Kevin so well. He'd be the last man out if it was his way. He'd get everybody out before himself, and that'd be it.
Yeah. Yeah, we were learning about this couple in part 2 a lot, where they were in Gander, refusing to leave a building because they just wanted to they didn't want to miss a phone call about their son, who's a first responder, and they got home and they found out their son did indeed pass away. I mean, he was a first responder, so he passed away like being in the debris, being in the thick of it, helping people. His parents here, like, I'm sure they were absolutely devastated and emotional, and maybe some time has passed before this interview, but here they just seem like sort of steadfast in their belief of, like, you know what? That happened, and I'm proud. I'm proud that was my son. I'm proud in the way he died. You know, that's literally as a hero. Obviously, no one's happy that he died or anyone died, but there is something to be gained out of this, and I feel like they've kind of come to the conclusion that that's what he wanted, and he passed away doing something very, very, very special and very selfless.
That's the type he was.
He was only 44 years old. Parents aren't supposed to bury their children. Children are supposed to bury their parents. The way he died, it was hard. It was hard.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they're featuring this in this documentary as well. Like some of the sadder moments, just like an acknowledgement of, like, there's no denying or downplaying how intensely horrible this was for so many people. So yeah, it's kind of been a juggling act here with this documentary of, like, horrific tragedy, wonderful, positive, like, amazing, like, experience that restores your faith in humanity going on in Gander, Newfoundland. Then they're kind of back home now. Okay, back to reality. This has happened. September 11th has happened. People are dead. Sons and daughters are dead. So, yeah, that's the reality of it, though.
I tell you, each year it gets easier. It don't. It gets harder.
Wow.
The regular rhythm of everyday life in Gander returns quickly following that extraordinary week in September.
Every day. Gander, business as usual. Bingo night, back on the table. That is funny. But also, talk about wholesome. Bingo night's back. The gymnasiums are open. Basketball's back.
Life in Gander returns quickly following that extraordinary week in September.
You'd never know it, like, looking at this. Like, these people are literal heroes themselves. Like, these are the people getting the supplies, clearing out the buildings, making the food, and taking care of, I think, 7,000 people, which almost doubled their population while they were there. These are the people that did it, right there, playing bingo.
Schools are schools again. Churches fill on Sundays. Legion halls open their doors. But the bonds forged in that short time endure to this day.
Yeah.
Shirley Brooks Jones has returned 17 times to give back to the people who were so generous to her.
Hey, yeah, there we go. I knew some of these people would go back. Like, how can you not after such a special experience? She's gone back 17 times. She practically lives there at this point.
How big is that scholarship fund now?
The scholarship fund is approaching, with insurance and cash, around $900,000.
Wow.
And 111 young people of the Lewisport area have been helped by that scholarship.
Wow.
Last spring, Stacy Hoff is one of 12 Lewisport seniors awarded a Delta 15 scholarship.
And it comes to no surprise, I'm sure, that the graduate of the year for 2009 is
Wow.
Stacy Hoff.
That's
She is
great.
now-
That's great. This scholarship that they started from this as well. That's fantastic.
A freshman at Memorial University in St. John's, Newfoundland.
I was proud. I was proud not only to receive the scholarship, I was proud of my community for what they have done.
Yep. Yep.
Well, the folks around here changed your life, but you changed their life as well.
Yes, we've become very, very close. They're my second family, really.
The Gander experience also forms a new family. After their impulsive goodbye kiss, Nick Marson and Diane Kershke, living an ocean apart, continue to phone and write each other. He visits her in October 2001 and again in December. And
Oh. Oh, I didn't know that. The couple that I thought they were together. I thought they were a couple on the bus ride or whatever. He was like giving her a goodbye kiss on the forehead, a friendly kiss. And then she made it a little more than friendly. And like grabbed him and like they had an actual kiss. Okay, that's what happened. That's great. Okay.
he visits her in October 2001 and again in December, and ultimately arranges to be transferred to the Houston office.
Oh.
On September 7th, 2002, they are married.
No way.
And for their honeymoon, they return to Gambo, the village near Gander where they met.
No freaking way. No freaking way. No freaking way. That's people got married over this event. Out of this tragedy came literal marriage. That is so great. That's incredible.
He welcomes them back with a song written just for them.
Oh. They wrote a song.
So when you said to your friends in England, I was stranded in Gander, but I met this lady from Texas. They say, Nick, what's going on with you here?
That is so Gander, Newfoundland. If ever there was. That is so Gander of them to write a song about their love and meeting.
One of my friends said to me, has she got that Texas twang? And I said, yes. And you still love her?
Wow. This is the best. I'm so glad that they put this in the documentary. I was not expecting this. Wow.
For the O'Rourkes, memories of 9/11 remain deeply painful. But the lasting gratitude they feel for a kind stranger who became a dear friend during their darkest hours brings them back to Gander for the first time, 8 years after they have buried their son.
Wow. Oh, they're back.
I don't believe it.
The married couple whose son passed away. Now they're back visiting.
Made you feel right at home, like you were friends forever. And you don't forget that.
Wow.
In your case, you had great loss, but great gain because of all these friends that you made here.
Oh, I made great friends.
Yeah.
They'll be your friends forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Can never thank them enough. It is unbelievable what these people have done. The love that's here. Everything, it's just unbelievable.
That's great. I'm so glad some of them went back to visit. I'm so glad.
What we keep encountering time after time is an enormous contrast between the darkness of the events in the United States and the goodness that was going on here. So in many ways, Gander played a critical role, not just in getting people through that time, but as an example of what humanity can be when it's at its best.
Well, I think there was a lady, she was 80 years of age, and when she was leaving, I think she summed it all up. She said, when I heard about what had happened in the world, I had lost all faith in mankind. But after spending 5 days here with you people, you've restored my faith. There still is good people lifting our world.
Yep. Exactly what I have been thinking. Exactly what I have been thinking about this whole situation. Summed up just like that.
That could be the legacy of Gander.
It could very well be.
Wow.
In a lakeside park just outside of Gander, there is this monument
to
the local residents who put their lives on hold to help 7,000 strangers stranded far from home on a terrifying day.
Oh, there's a monument. Fantastic. Okay. I mean, a monument's great, but it's like the story behind this monument. This story is like just transcendent. Like this is, again, like I think more Americans need to know about this. I didn't know about this story. This is an incredible story. I think the events of 9/11 were just so heartbreaking for so many people. This story over the years has gotten lost or something. Like, I don't know. I feel like it needs highlighted, which I hope I'm doing here by watching it and learning about it, at least for myself. Like, thank goodness. I am so grateful for learning about this.
Here, every minute of every hour, thousands of acts of kindness were repeated.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Man, oh, man. That'll do it. That was such a good documentary. Holy cow. Like, and getting a bit like heartfelt there at the end as well. Like, but it's not anything insincere. It's like the story speaks for itself. This is amazing. From what I can tell, like about the Wikipedia and stuff, this was called Operation Yellow Ribbon. The events that transpired here, basically, certainly the airport in Gander, Newfoundland, like organizing the landing of the hundreds of planes that needed to land there and that whole effort. And then it extended far beyond that, with literally the town of Gander opening itself up and being so amazing and hospitable to everyone who was stranded there for those days. And it just created a special experience and just a story. I had no idea. Again, like, I can't get over that. This was really, really amazing to learn about, I gotta say. This video is by Kitzer 9/11 Archives, and I gotta give that a like. Very thankful that they put this up on YouTube so I could watch it, because this is just, this was so touching and wholesome, and I have, like, faith in humanity, like I do, but like I was kind of saying, at this time, a lot of people had lost their faith in humanity a bit. Like, learning that terror like this could happen. And this restored faith in humanity for so many people, and I'm sure all the people who went through being in Gander spread this story to everyone they knew. Perhaps, like, when this was happening, you know, the internet wasn't quite what it was, social media wasn't quite what it was now, or else I feel like this story would have been much bigger in a way. But I'm glad that it's up here on the internet now and that I got to watch it. And I loved this story. I enjoyed this immensely. This was fantastic to learn about. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on this whole thing, Gander, Newfoundland, 9/11, the events that transpired there, Operation Yellow Ribbon. That'd be fantastic to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, stuff about Canada I've never learned before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.